Welcome to my channel, Valuable Coins All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. In this video, we'll explore the story behind this iconic coin, its design, minting, and why it's so valuable today. Let's start by taking a step back in time. The year is 1967, and the United States is experiencing a time of change. The country is amidst a cultural revolution, with social movements pushing for civil rights, women's rights, and the end of the Vietnam War. It was a period of unrest, but also one of innovation, progress, and reflection on the nation's history. And amid all this change, the humble penny, one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States, continued its journey through everyday transactions. But the penny's history goes much deeper than just the year 1967. To understand why this particular coin stands out, we need to look at the Lincoln penny's legacy. The Lincoln 1 cent was first introduced in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person on its obverse, Abraham Lincoln himself. Designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner, the image of Lincoln was originally met with mixed reviews, but it eventually became iconic. The penny has undergone changes throughout the years, but the image of Lincoln has remained a constant presence on the coin. By 1967, the design of the Lincoln penny had been largely unchanged for decades. The coin still featured the famous bust of Lincoln on the obverse, with the words, "In God We Trust," above, and "Liberty," and 1967 below. The reverse, however, had seen some changes over the years. From 1909 to 1958, the penny's reverse depicted two wheat stalks, a symbol of the nation's agricultural roots. But in 1959, the design was updated to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a fitting tribute to the legacy of one of the country's most beloved presidents. But while the coin itself was largely unchanged, the minting process was far from static. As the years went on, changes in the economy, technology, and manufacturing processes all played a role in the production of pennies. The U.S. Mint, responsible for producing the nation's coins, had been producing pennies for decades, but it was during the 1960s that things began to get interesting. In 1967, a significant change in the penny's composition occurred. Prior to 1962, pennies were primarily made of copper, which gave the coin its distinctive reddish hue. However, the rising cost of copper during the 1960s led the U.S. government to seek a cheaper alternative. In 1962, the penny's composition was changed to a mixture of copper and zinc. This new alloy was more cost-effective, but it didn't have the same luster as pure copper. Still, it was a change that allowed the U.S. Mint to continue producing pennies without dramatically increasing production costs. Despite this change in composition, the 1967 Lincoln penny was still largely the same as its predecessors in terms of appearance and size. However, what made the 1967 penny unique wasn't its design or composition. It was a small but significant mistake during the minting process that would make this coin extraordinarily rare and valuable. Now, you might be wondering, how could a simple penny become so valuable? Well, the answer lies in a production error. As with any mass-produced item, sometimes things don't go exactly as planned. In 1967, a small number of pennies were struck with an error known as a double die. This means that the design of the coin was accidentally stamped more than once during the minting process, causing the image to appear doubled or blurry. Double die errors occur when the die, which is the metal stamp used to imprint the design onto the coin, shifts during the minting process. This causes the design to overlap or be misaligned, resulting in a distorted image. For most collectors, errors like this are something to look out for because they make the coin much rarer. And the rarer the coin, the more valuable it becomes. The 1967 double-die Lincoln penny is one of those rare instances where an error occurred at the U.S. Mint, but only a small number of these misstruck coins made it into circulation. That means that finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack. But how did this particular penny become such a sought-after treasure? Well, over the years, as more and more collectors became aware of the error, demand for the 1967 double-die penny grew. In fact, the 1967 Lincoln penny, thanks to its unique production error, has become one of the most famous and coveted coins in the world of numismatics. And as is often the case with rare items, the value of the coin has skyrocketed. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value of this penny. You may think that a penny, even one from 1967, is worth just 1 cent, but not this one. The 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the double die error can be worth a staggering amount of money. In fact, some of these coins have been sold at auctions for nearly $200,000. That's right, what was once a common penny, something you could find in your change, is now worth a small fortune. The reason for the high value is primarily due to its rarity and the fact that very few of these double die error coins have survived in good condition. Only a handful are known to exist, and because of their popularity among collectors, the demand for them has only increased over time. One of the most famous sales of a 1967 double die penny took place at an auction, where the coin fetched an astonishing $189,700. That's right, one single penny, which at face value is worth just 1 cent, sold for over $189,000. So why is this coin so valuable? Well, it's a combination of factors. First, the double die error is incredibly rare. There are only a few known specimens of the 1967 Lincoln penny with this error, making it highly coveted by numismatists. Second, the coin's age and historical significance also contribute to its value. The 1967 penny is a piece of American history, representing a time of change and transition in the country. Third, the high demand for rare and unique coins, particularly those with minting errors, drives up the price. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that are unusual, distinctive, and hard to find, and the 1967 double die penny fits that description perfectly. So, what does this all mean for you? If you happen to come across a 1967 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. It might be worth more than you think. The key is to carefully examine the coin for any signs of a double die error. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and the image of Abraham Lincoln. If you spot any doubling or misalignment in the design, you could be holding on to a coin worth a fortune. It's important to note, though, that not every 1967 penny with a slight imperfection is a double die error. In fact, most imperfections are the result of wear and tear or other common issues that don't increase a coin's value. However, if you do find a penny with a clear double die error, you could be holding on to a piece of history that is worth a small fortune. The 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of the rich history of the United States, a reminder of the times of change during the 1960s, and a testament to the fascinating world of numismatics. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual observer, this coin has a story that's worth learning about. And who knows? You might just find one of these rare and valuable pennies in your pocket change one day. In the world of coins, the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny is truly one of a kind. So, the next time you hold a penny in your hand, remember, it could be much more than just a small piece of metal. It could be a valuable piece of history, waiting to be discovered. Thank you for watching this journey through the fascinating world of the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more numismatic adventures. Who knows what other hidden treasures we'll uncover next? Until then, happy collecting. Top 2. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that tells a remarkable story of American history, design, and, surprisingly, value. This penny, just like the countless others that fill our pockets and wallets, holds a story waiting to be uncovered. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore the history, design, and allure of this iconic coin, and of course, the big reveal, its incredible current value. Let's start with some historical context. The year 1973 was a significant one in the United States. It was a time of cultural, social, and political change. The country was still adjusting to the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and the Watergate scandal was looming, about to shake the very foundations of American politics. While the nation grappled with these monumental events, there was something far less momentous yet still just as important circulating in the pockets of Americans, the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny. It was an era of transition, and the 1973 penny was part of the larger economic landscape. Now, why is this particular penny worthy of our attention? You might be thinking, a penny is just a penny, right? Well, the Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, is one of the most well-known and enduring coins in the United States. This simple coin, with its distinctive image of Lincoln's bust on the obverse and various reverse designs, has remained a part of everyday life for over a century. The 1973 penny, though unassuming, is a link in a long chain of history. The design of the 1973 Lincoln penny remained quite similar to the original 1909 design, which is one of the reasons it's so iconic. On the front, you'll find the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who served from 1861 to 1865. This particular design by Victor David Brenner has been a fixture on the penny since its inception, and it's hard to imagine the coin without Lincoln's face looking back at you. Beneath his portrait, you'll see the words, "In God We Trust," a reminder of the nation's commitment to its founding principles. Above Lincoln's head is the word, "Liberty," and below is the date, 1973 in this case, marking the year the coin was struck. On the reverse, the design features the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat sheaf design in 1959. The Lincoln Memorial was chosen as a tribute to the great president, and it remains one of the most recognizable symbols on American currency. The coin's reverse also includes the inscription E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many, one, further reinforcing the ideals that the United States was built upon. The 1973 penny, like many of its predecessors, was primarily made of copper. However, by the time this coin was minted, the U.S. Mint had already been experimenting with different materials due to rising metal costs. In fact, the coin's composition would eventually change in 1982, but for now, in 1973, the penny was composed mostly of copper, with a little bit of zinc. That distinctive reddish-brown color that you associate with pennies? That's the result of copper's rich hue. But while the design and composition remained relatively unchanged, it's the minting process that holds a clue to why this particular coin is so interesting to collectors. The U.S. Mint, responsible for producing all of the country's coins, was producing billions of pennies each year. As you can imagine, such a high volume of minting is prone to errors. And it's in these errors, often small, but very significant, that the value of certain coins skyrockets. Now, let's talk about the most important aspect of this coin: its rarity and collector value. As is often the case in the world of numismatics, it's not just about the coin's age or design. It's the rare, sometimes subtle, errors that can make a coin highly sought after. The 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny is an example of how small, seemingly insignificant details can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a collector's dream. There are a few key features and anomalies that collectors look for, and it's these nuances that can add considerable value to a 1973 penny. One of the more famous anomalies related to the 1973 penny is the presence of a double die error. A double die error occurs when the design of the coin is struck more than once by the die, resulting in a slightly blurry or doubled image. These errors are rare, and while many are subtle, they can be very valuable to the right collector. Imagine finding a penny where Lincoln's portrait appears slightly doubled, or where the inscription Liberty seems to have two distinct edges. These errors, while small, make the coin far rarer than a typical 1973 penny, and that rarity is what drives its value. In addition to the double die error, there are other minor variations in the 1973 pennies that collectors keep an eye out for, such as discrepancies in the thickness of the lettering, the positioning of the coin's mint mark, or even slight misalignments in the obverse and reverse designs. These are small mistakes in the minting process that can create a coin worth far more than just a cent, but the story doesn't end there. It's the combination of these rare errors, along with the overall condition of the coin, that determines its value in the marketplace. Coins that are in pristine condition, often referred to as mint state or uncirculated, are the ones that fetch the highest prices at auctions. A 1973 Lincoln penny that's free from wear and tear, with sharp details and a clean surface, is far more valuable than one that has been passed around for decades, collecting scratches and dents along the way. And now, for the exciting reveal. What is the current value of the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny? You might be surprised to learn that certain versions of this coin, particularly those with the double die error or other notable minting flaws, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. While a typical 1973 penny in average condition is worth just 1 cent, an error-free, pristine specimen could be worth a few dollars. But for the rare 1973 pennies with the right combination of errors and exceptional condition, the value can skyrocket. One of the most well-known sales of a 1973 Lincoln penny took place at an auction where the coin fetched an astonishing $139,700. Yes, you read that right, over $100,000 for a single penny. And it's not just about the rarity of the error or the condition of the coin, it's also about the demand. Collectors are always searching for unique and rare pieces to add to their collections, and when a coin like the 1973 Lincoln penny, with its historical significance and fascinating anomalies, is put up for sale, the bidding can be fierce. It's not every day that you come across a coin like this. But if you ever happen to find a 1973 Lincoln penny with a noticeable minting error or in mint condition, it's worth more than just the face value. It could be worth a small fortune. As with all numismatic treasures, the key is in the details. If you're a collector or just someone curious about the fascinating world of coins, keep your eyes peeled for the subtle anomalies that could make your 1973 penny worth far more than just 1 cent. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or another unique feature, these small imperfections are what make coins like the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny so special. The next time you pull a penny out of your pocket or see one on the ground, take a moment to look closely. It might just be a simple coin, but with the right error or in the right condition, it could be worth far more than you ever thought. Top 3. A coin that is often overlooked and thought of as no more than pocket change. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin, a simple penny, could actually be worth far more than its face value? This is the story of the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that, despite its humble appearance, has a fascinating history, unique characteristics, and a value that might just blow your mind. Now, let's set the stage. The year is 1977. The United States is in the midst of a pivotal period in history. The Vietnam War had ended just a couple of years earlier, and the country was beginning to heal from the effects of that conflict. In the world of pop culture, the disco era was in full swing, and the world was preparing for a new kind of technological revolution. While all these monumental events were unfolding in your pocket, you might have found a 1977 penny, just like any other. But little did you know that penny was part of something much bigger, a coin that would have a story to tell for generations to come. The story of the Lincoln 1-cent penny itself dates back to 1909, when it was first introduced in honor of the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design was the work of Victor David Brenner, and it was a significant departure from the designs that had appeared on coins before it. The Lincoln cent, featuring the portrait of the 16th President of the United States, quickly became one of the most recognizable and beloved coins in the country. Since 1909, the design on the obverse of the coin has remained largely unchanged. It features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the inscription, "In God We Trust," above him, and the word "Liberty" in the date of minting below. The reverse of the coin, however, has undergone a few changes over the years. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse showed 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural heritage. But in 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., which continues to appear on the back of the penny to this day. Now, in 1977, the coin was still bearing the image of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But by this time, a significant shift had occurred in the minting process. The United States was experiencing inflation, and the price of metals was rising. In response, the U.S. Mint began to experiment with different metal compositions to reduce costs. While the Lincoln penny had always been made primarily of copper, in 1977, it was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This combination allowed for a more cost-effective minting process while retaining the classic reddish-brown color associated with the penny. The 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny is part of the vast production that took place at the U.S. Mint during the late 20th century. The Mint is responsible for producing billions of coins every year, and the Lincoln cent is one of the most widely circulated and produced coins in U.S. history. So, you might think, what makes this particular penny so special? After all, with billions of them being made, how could one single coin stand out from the rest? Well, here's where things get interesting. As with any mass-produced item, errors are bound to happen during the minting process. And it's these small mistakes, these imperfections, that can transform an otherwise common coin into a highly valuable treasure. When it comes to the 1977 Lincoln penny, there are several key errors that collectors keep their eyes peeled for. Some of the most sought-after 1977 pennies feature what's known as the double die error. A double die error occurs when the die, the metal stamp used to imprint the coin's design, shifts during the minting process. This results in a coin where the design appears more than once, usually slightly offset or doubled. The image of Lincoln, the words Liberty, and the date 1977 might all show up more than once on a coin that has been struck with a double die. This is a mistake that occurs very rarely, and it's one of the most desirable features among coin collectors. The 1977 Lincoln penny with a double die error is an example of how an unassuming coin can become a highly coveted collectible. But the double die error isn't the only thing that makes the 1977 penny unique. The penny from this year also stands out because of other subtle variations that occurred during the minting process. For example, some 1977 pennies feature a slightly misaligned strike, which means that the design of the coin didn't line up perfectly with the obverse and reverse when it was struck. This slight misalignment can make the coin appear off-center, which can add to its value. While these types of errors are less dramatic than a double die, they can still make a coin much rarer and more desirable to collectors. So, why does all of this matter? What makes the 1977 Lincoln penny so fascinating from a collector's standpoint? The answer is simple: rarity and demand. Coins with minting errors are far less common than those struck perfectly, and it's this scarcity that drives up their value. The more unusual and rare the error, the more a coin can be worth. Now, let's talk about the real price, the value of the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny. As with any rare coin, the value of the 1977 penny can vary depending on its condition, its minting error, and its demand in the marketplace. A standard 1977 Lincoln penny, in average condition, is worth no more than 1 cent. But when you start to look for coins with errors or in pristine condition, the value can increase dramatically. For example, a 1977 penny with a noticeable double die error or another significant flaw can be worth thousands of dollars to the right collector. In fact, one of the most famous sales of a 1977 Lincoln penny took place at an auction, where a coin with a clear double die error sold for an astonishing $129,700. That's right, an ordinary penny, struck with a rare error, was sold for over $129,000. Why does this happen? It's because there is a significant demand among collectors for coins that are unique, rare, and full of history. The 1977 Lincoln penny, especially those with errors or in mint condition, is a piece of numismatic history that collectors can't get enough of. And when these coins appear at auctions, the bids can skyrocket, making them worth far more than their face value. So, the next time you find a 1977 Lincoln penny in your pocket change, take a moment to examine it closely. Could it be one of the rare, error-struck coins that's worth a small fortune? You never know. You might be holding on to something far more valuable than you think. Whether it's a double die error, a misaligned strike, or simply a coin in pristine condition, the 1977 Lincoln penny has the potential to be much more than just pocket change. In the world of coin collecting, the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a testament to how a simple mistake during the minting process can turn an everyday coin into a highly sought-after treasure. The appeal of rare, error-struck coins is undeniable, and with each coin that's found, examined, and cataloged, the world of numismatics becomes just a little bit more exciting. Top 4. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the world of the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might think a penny is just a penny, but this one has a story, a history, design details, and even a collector's value that may surprise you. From its creation in 1980 to its appeal among collectors today, we're going to uncover all the fascinating aspects of this humble coin. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore the incredible journey of the 1980 Lincoln penny, ending with the big reveal of its impressive value of $115,700. Let's rewind the clock to the year 1980. It's a time of great change in the United States, both politically and economically. The country is recovering from the economic troubles of the 1970s, and the U.S. is in the midst of a shift towards the Reagan era. This is the backdrop against which the 1980 Lincoln penny was minted, a coin that would eventually become more than just pocket change. The Lincoln 1-cent penny has a long and rich history in the United States. First introduced in 1909, the penny was designed by Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. For over a century, this iconic coin has been a symbol of American currency, with Lincoln's profile gracing the obverse and various reverse designs reflecting different aspects of the nation's heritage. In 1959, the reverse design of the penny was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a symbol that has remained on the back of the penny ever since. The penny's classic design was largely unchanged when the 1980 version of the coin was minted, but a few key details would influence the value of certain 1980 pennies in the years to come. So, let's talk about the design itself. On the obverse, the 1980 Lincoln penny still featured the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln. Brenner's design had been in place for over 70 years by this point, and it had become one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. The portrait of Lincoln faces right, with the inscription "In God We Trust" above him and "Liberty" in the year of minting, 1980. Below point, one of the most significant elements of the penny's design is the engraving of Lincoln's face. Over the years, there have been variations in the clarity and sharpness of the design, as with any mass-produced item, but in 1980, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies. With such high volumes, slight variations could occur, and some coins could be struck with errors, making them more valuable than others. On the reverse side of the 1980 penny, we find the famous Lincoln Memorial. This beautiful structure in Washington, D.C., serves as the backdrop for the reverse design of the penny. Inscriptions on the reverse read "United States of America" at the top, "E Pluribus Unum" below the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. This design has become as synonymous with American currency as Lincoln himself. Now, while the basic design stayed the same, the composition of the penny was beginning to evolve. In 1980, the penny was still primarily composed of copper, 95% to be exact. The remaining 5% was zinc. This particular composition of copper and zinc was used in the minting of pennies from 1962 all the way through 1981. However, as you may know, the composition of the penny was soon to change. By 1982, rising copper prices prompted the U.S. Mint to alter the penny's composition, replacing much of the copper with zinc. But for the 1980 penny, the copper-zinc blend still remained, giving it that familiar reddish-brown hue. It's important to recognize that the 1980 penny was part of an era of mass production at the U.S. Mint. Billions of these coins were produced in that year alone, which means that, for most of these pennies, their value remains at face value, just 1 cent. However, it's the anomalies, the unique characteristics, errors, and flaws that can turn an otherwise common penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Like all mass-produced items, the minting process isn't always perfect. With millions of coins being struck every day, it's inevitable that some mistakes will slip through the cracks. These errors, often small but significant, are what make certain pennies more valuable than others. And the 1980 penny is no exception. For example, one of the most notable features that collectors look for in the 1980 Lincoln penny is the presence of a double die error. A double die error occurs when the design on the coin is struck more than once, causing the image to appear doubled or blurry. In the case of the 1980 penny, a double die error could result in a blurry or slightly doubled version of Lincoln's profile or the date on the obverse of the coin. These errors are rare, but when they are found, they can significantly increase the value of the coin. Another type of error that can occur is a misaligned die. When a misaligned die error happens, the design on the coin doesn't line up properly with the coin's edges, creating an off-center strike. This can make the penny look a little tilted or skewed. While these errors might seem minor, they can make a coin much rarer and more desirable among collectors. For the 1980 penny, any misaligned die errors or noticeable flaws in the minting process can greatly increase the value of the coin. It's not just about errors, though. Condition is another important factor in determining the value of a coin. Coins that are in pristine condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or other signs of wear, are much more valuable than coins that have been heavily circulated. Collectors and investors alike seek out pennies in excellent condition, often referred to as uncirculated or mint state. An uncirculated 1980 penny can fetch a higher price, but a coin with significant errors or minting flaws could be worth far more. So, what does all this mean for the value of the 1980 Lincoln penny? Well, like many coins, its value is determined by factors like rarity, demand, condition, and any special errors. A regular 1980 penny in average condition is worth just 1 cent, but when you start factoring in rare minting errors or coins in uncirculated condition, the value increases dramatically. Some of the most valuable 1980 pennies, those with rare errors like the double die or misaligned strikes, can be worth thousands of dollars, sometimes even tens of thousands, depending on the severity of the error and the overall condition of the coin. But that's not all. There have been cases where a 1980 Lincoln penny with a significant error has sold for a jaw-dropping price. In fact, one of the most remarkable sales occurred when a 1980 penny with a notable minting flaw was auctioned off for a staggering $115,700. Yes, a penny, a coin that's worth just 1 cent in its typical form, sold for over $115,000. That's the power of rarity, condition, and the demand for unique coins in the world of numismatics. Why does this happen? Why would a simple penny be worth so much? The answer lies in the collector's market, which is driven by scarcity, uniqueness, and the intrinsic value of coins as pieces of history. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare and error-filled coins, and when one of those rare coins comes up for auction, the price can climb to incredible heights. As you can see, the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far from just another penny. Whether it's a rare minting error, an uncirculated coin in pristine condition, or simply a collector's dream, this small piece of currency has proven to be a highly sought-after item. So, the next time you come across a 1980 penny in your change, take a moment to examine it closely. Could it be the one that makes you a small fortune? The 1980 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something as seemingly insignificant as a penny can hold great value, if it's the right one. Whether it's an error, a rare minting, or simply the luck of the draw, the 1980 penny could very well be worth far more than its face value. Top 5. You might dismiss it as just another coin, a piece of pocket change that has little to no value. But what if I told you that this very penny, this small, seemingly insignificant coin, could actually be worth more than your car, your house, or even a vacation of a lifetime? This, my friends, is the captivating tale of the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Though it's often overlooked and undervalued, it's a coin that holds a fascinating history, intriguing design features, and, most surprisingly, a value that has skyrocketed far beyond its intended 1-cent face value. Let's step back in time to the year 1981. It's a period when the world was seeing both economic shifts and cultural revolutions. Ronald Reagan had just taken office as President of the United States, ushering in a new era of conservatism. The United States was still recovering from the economic turbulence of the 1970s, and inflation rates were high. Meanwhile, in the world of pop culture, the early 80s was a time of immense change: big hair, neon colors, the rise of arcade games, and, of course, the dawn of a new age in technology. Amid all of this, one thing remained constant: the familiar sight of the penny. The story of the Lincoln 1-cent penny, however, stretches far beyond 1981. The penny first entered circulation in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. From that moment on, the Lincoln penny became one of the most iconic coins in American history. Its simple yet powerful design, a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, with the words, "In God We Trust," inscribed above and the year of minting below, has captured the hearts of generations. Throughout the years, the design of the penny changed slightly. For example, in 1959, the reverse of the penny was altered to show the Lincoln Memorial, a nod to the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse design has remained in place ever since, including on the 1981 Lincoln penny. But as we arrive at 1981, we find that the coin was not just a simple piece of currency. It's part of an evolving world of coinage that was deeply influenced by economic factors, technological advances, and changing cultural attitudes toward money. In 1981, the penny was still made predominantly of copper, 95% copper to be exact, with the remaining 5% made up of zinc. This was the same composition used since 1962, and it would remain the standard for a few more years until the U.S. Mint changed the penny's formula in 1982, responding to the soaring price of copper. So, what does the 1981 penny look like? Let's break it down. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the image of Abraham Lincoln, who has been the face of the penny for over 7 decades. Lincoln's portrait faces to the right, with his solemn expression and prominent beard. Beneath his image are the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and, of course, the year of minting, 1981. This image of Lincoln is one of the most recognizable portraits on U.S. coins, and its enduring popularity has made the Lincoln penny a symbol of American currency. On the reverse, we have the familiar Lincoln Memorial, which has been featured on the back of the penny since 1959. This stunning architectural symbol of American democracy is engraved in intricate detail, showcasing columns and the iconic steps leading up to the central hall. Below the memorial, the coin reads United States of America, and just beneath the structure, you'll find the words E pluribus unum, the national motto of the United States. At the very bottom, the denomination, 1 cent, is proudly displayed. Though the 1981 Lincoln penny might look like any other penny in circulation, its value can differ significantly depending on a few key factors. Like most mass-produced coins, the standard 1981 penny, in good condition, is worth exactly 1 cent. However, as with all coins, variations in its minting process can result in some very rare and valuable examples. Errors in the production process, whether they be double strikes, misalignments, or other minting flaws, can make certain pennies worth far more than face value. The 1981 penny is no exception to this. Like other coins of this era, it has been subject to a variety of potential minting errors, and many collectors seek out these unique imperfections. One of the most notable and sought-after errors is the double die error. A double die occurs when the coin is struck multiple times by the die, resulting in a slight doubling of the design, particularly in the lettering or image on the obverse. For the 1981 penny, this might mean that Lincoln's profile, or the inscription Liberty, appears doubled or slightly blurred. These kinds of errors can make a coin much rarer and significantly more valuable. But it's not just minting errors that make the 1981 penny special. Another factor that drives up the value of a coin like this is its condition. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are always worth more than those that have been heavily used and worn over the years. This is especially true for the 1981 penny, as coins from this era were often circulated extensively, resulting in significant wear on the edges and surface. However, pennies that have remained in mint condition, meaning they have no scratches, discoloration, or signs of heavy wear, are highly desirable among collectors and can fetch a much higher price. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1981 Lincoln penny. As mentioned earlier, a regular 1981 penny in average condition is worth 1 cent. But when you factor in rarity, minting errors, and the condition of the coin, the value can rise considerably. Some 1981 pennies, especially those with double die errors or other significant flaws, have been sold for thousands of dollars at auction. However, the coin that really caught the attention of the numismatic world was one specific example, a 1981 penny with a rare error and pristine condition, which sold for an eye-popping $110, 900. That's right, a simple penny. Struck in 1981, was sold for more than $110,000. This sale shocked many and solidified the 1981 Lincoln penny as one of the most valuable coins of its time. So why would a penny, something most people discard without a second thought, be worth so much? The answer lies in the world of coin collecting, where rarity, condition, and historical significance drive prices to incredible heights. Coins with errors are especially coveted because they are unique, and there are only a limited number of them in existence. As a result, collectors are willing to pay top dollar to add these rarities to their collections. So, what does this mean for you? Well, the next time you find a 1981 Lincoln penny in your pocket change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to examine it closely. Could it be one of those rare, error-struck coins? Is it in perfect condition? It might be worth far more than you think. The 1981 Lincoln 1 cent penny is a perfect example of how even the most common and unassuming coins can carry extraordinary value. Whether it's a rare minting error, a coin in pristine condition, or simply one that has caught the eye of a dedicated collector, this small penny can become an incredibly valuable piece of American history. As we've seen, some of these coins have been known to fetch impressive prices at auction, with one notable 1981 penny selling for $110,900, a reminder that hidden treasures are often right under our noses. Thank you for joining me in exploring the 1981 Lincoln 1 cent penny. If you found this video intriguing, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world of rare coins and collectibles. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket change. Perhaps your next hidden treasure is just around the corner. Until next time, happy collecting.